Yo, what's up guys? It is Ian here, hitting you with it on this very special Thursday. And yeah, welcome back to the last episode of Ian Spills the Beans. This is the second series I have done. Yeah, I think it went pretty well. Not as well as I'd like it to. I had a lot of things come up and I missed about one or two episodes. Just like personal, family business and whatnot. So yeah, that kind of blew. I also had a lot of work going on. So yeah, it took a strange turn. But in the end, I had a lot of fun with it. Just sitting here bullshitting with you guys, or bullshitting to you guys, since you're not really, this isn't a Skype call. It's just me recording my voice and talking to my computer screen. But I just thought for the finale of Ian Spills the Beans, I thought I'd do some fun facts about myself. Because, I always talk about certain stories that I have or certain things that are going on, but I never really talk about myself as a person. So, yeah, we'll get into that. I don't know how many I'm going to do. There's no special order on how I'm doing these. I'm just kind of coming up with them as I go along. So moving on to number one, I am a huge fan of music, and what's funny is I'm in 11th grade now. This didn't really kick off until I was about in 7th grade, like end of 7th grade. Before that, I never really cared about music all that much. I never listened to much. I never, had my thing. I was never like, oh, I love this song. I just didn't really care all that much. But once 7th grade came around, I started playing a lot of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and I listened to a ton of West Coast classics. Wow, a lot of Radio Los Santos, and I had like Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, think some Easy, some NWA. It had a lot of people on there, and it definitely opened me up to like 90s old school rap. And I really, really got into that. Like, that was my ish. And I ended up getting the Skull Candy Crushers because those were crazy for bass. And I listened to a lot of rap for a while. And then I felt like moving on to 8th grade, I was kind of moving on from that. And I ended up getting into Daft Punk, which is like house and like French disco, all that stuff. And it was just like, it was that click, and I really got into that, and I didn't really listen to rap that much anymore. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I still go back to it, but I don't listen to rap as much. But yeah, I listened to primarily only Daft Punk, all the way until like maybe I don't know, I did that for about a year, and one day I was like, oh hey, Green Day, I want to listen to that. Just out on a whim. I was doing some schoolwork, and yeah, I just started listening to Green Day, and that kind of opened me up to punk rock and all that. And I started listening to more bands like Weezer, Foo Fighters, and White Stripes, a ton of that stuff. It just opened me up to a whole new thing. So I just go back and forth on that, and yeah, that's basically it for that certain thing. Moving on to number two, this also has to do with music, is I kind of go ham with my music a lot. So basically, like, I don't use, if my headphones were to break, I wouldn't listen to music on like cheap speakers or like cheap like earbuds. Like, I need to have like music played at quality, and I know that the Skull Candy Crushers aren't really like magnificent headphones, but I hate listening to music that sounds like crap. So that's why like I kind of always go ham on stuff. Like listening to music on YouTube, I can't do it because I don't want to say I'm an audiophile, but I'm really like anal and critical over things. That's kind of why like I'm going into like getting almost a $300 pair of headphones. So yeah, I'm really picky when it comes to music. So yeah, that's it for number two. Moving on to number three, voice crack, ew, is and you guys probably knew this, but I am like deeply into computers, and I kind of want to say I've always have been, but it evolved from probably I'd say video games, because I remember like whenever I was a kid, my aunt, she had a Game Boy Color, and it was like the clear purple one. And I always saw like the insides of it, and I was always fascinated, like, oh, you can see like the circuit boards and all that stuff. And I used to live in this apartment back in this different part of Pittsburgh, and I remember my dad had a bunch of computer stuff laying around, because we had this neighbor that was into computer stuff as well, and they always built computers together. And then one day I guess I like broke the printer or something that we had, and I remember getting yelled at for it, because I took it apart and like no one could put it back together. And so after playing, like, when I got older, I started playing video games, and like from playing video games I wanted to build a computer, and then from that I learned how to build computers, and I really got into it, and I just really kicked off with it. And yeah, so that actually explained why I want to be a computer hardware engineer when I'm older. Moving on to number 4, I love New York City. This is going to be a bit of a strange one, but right now I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I honestly do not like the city at all. Bunch of reasons why. I'm not going to get in depth with it, but I've been to New York City twice now, and this is actually going to be my 3rd time going in May 11th for a school trip. And every time I go there, I always just feel good being there. It's always nice, and it's always a good time. And why does someone have a fucking lawnmower going on at 9:53 at night? Alright, sorry, I got distracted. So yeah, every time I'm there, it's a nice feeling. I like walking around the city. There's so much to the city, and it's just, I personally, it's fantastic to me. And when I'm older, I plan on living there. It's kind of like my little obsession, I guess you could say. But yeah, I don't know, that's just kind of like my thing. I don't know why. Moving on to, what is this, number 5 already? I think this is 5. This one kind of has to tie in the me and Bill a bit. And me and Bill, we always like make these videos together. But me and Bill have known each other probably almost my entire life. The neighborhood I live in now, I moved in here when I was about, like, I want to say either 4 or 5 years old. I used to live in Greenfield. That's where that apartment I mentioned earlier was. And we moved out because we wanted to go to a nicer area. Wanted to get out of an apartment and move into a house, me and my parents. And one day my grandma was watching me, because before I was able to watch myself, she would always just be there while my parents were at work. And one day I wanted to go outside, and my grandma wouldn't let me leave the driveway. And this is going back so far. But yeah, Bill, because he lives like literally right down the block from me. And I saw him coming down on his scooter. I'm like, hi, what's your name? And he said, oh, it's Bill. And we said, like, oh, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to the park. Do you want to hang out sometime? Yeah, sure. And yeah, I guess he just came back to my house later in the day when my mom was home, and we just, I don't know, we really kicked it off. We played a lot of like made up games that are all imaginary, so we always pretended like we were in different video games. We called it Game Mix, and it was crazy. And this one part, we would sit on the porch and pretend we were like the 2 principals of a school, and we called it Principal of the School, and it was crazy. That the storyline, whew, oh my god. Daxter is the worst kid ever. If you're watching that, you know exactly what that means. No one else is gonna understand. That probably sounds so corny, but yeah, we've known each other for a while, more than a while, and I wasn't necessarily the best friend. I was a bit of a dick, just because I was always an indoor person, and everything always had to go my way. So yeah, looking back, I do feel bad on like how I treated Bill, because it was pretty crappy. There was a time where I would say like probably around 5th to 7th grade, we just didn't really talk anymore. And then one day in 8th grade, because in 8th grade, that was like the worst year of my life. It was terrible. I called him one day, and I was gonna ask if he wanted to come over, and then he was like, "Hey, can I come over?" I'm like, "What?" And that was whenever we really started like hanging out again, and things have been really chill. But yeah, so that was basically it. And then he showed me that he was making videos for Alpha Clock at the time, and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. And then a couple years later, I'm like, hey, I should make videos for Alpha Clock, and here I am now. Moving on to number 6, I've always made videos, but I never really did it regularly. So it all started back when I did a little YouTube channel called ScreamFace00, and it was basically just me at 10 years old, wanting to be like the next big thing on YouTube. And I made a bunch of stupid videos, but what's funny is some of them have like 24,000 views now, and it was like one that's like an airplane, and it's just like, how does this even have views? Like, what? But yeah, it's called ScreamFace00. Go ahead and check it out for yourself. I don't really care because it's just me. But yeah, it was just like I did that for a few years, I would say, just making random videos, and I kind of like got away from it because I just never was I was never motivated to make videos. And then I made a new channel called That Kid with a Camera 00. Yeah, 00 sticks around a lot. And I was gonna make like Let's Play stuff on there, because later on Let's Plays were like a big like thing to me. I always thought it was the coolest thing ever. It's actually how I got the idea of the name Avigin, which I've called myself a couple times in videos. Because this one kid that's from Arizona, he's like the grandson of my neighbor. He came over to my house, and I typed in AVGN on my computer, Angry Video Game Nerd, and he just said, "What's Avigin?" And I don't know, it was just, that thing kind of stuck with me, the name. And yeah, I only made about one or two. I did a Harlem Shake video back when those were big. But yeah, I did one gameplay video. It wasn't that good. Then I took it off, and that was that. The channel's not called that anymore. It's called something else now. But it's I don't know. I'll show that at a different time. I'm still working on certain things for it. So yeah. Wow, this is going on pretty long. But oh well. This is the season finale. We're going hard. Moving on to, I think, number 7 is I procrastinate a whole Mac ton. I procrastinate for just about anything. So if there's a major assignment going on for school, I didn't do it until the day before. If I ever need to clean my room, I don't do it until like half an hour before I go to bed. And yeah, if I'm leaving to go to work, I'm not out of bed until half an hour or sooner before I actually have to leave. And I don't recommend procrastination, but I feel like a lot of times my best work is done when I procrastinate. I have gotten so much stuff, like for one of my final projects for my English cultural literacy class thing, I did about a week's worth of work in one night, and it was some quality work. So yeah, or like this one time for school, we had to do like this like mock college essay, and we did a rough draft. Then we had that get looked at. Then we did another one, and then got it looked at again. Then did the final. I didn't do any of it until we had to do the final, and I got a solid A. Not to brag, but that's one of my good accomplishments of mine. Moving on to reason number 8. Wait, reason number 8. What is this? 13 reasons why? Christ. I like musical instruments. My monitor just turned off. That's not good. Turn back on. There we go. So it started off back when I was in about 5th or 6th grade. I wanted to play the ocarina of all things. And I had 2 really shitty ones that weren't even, like, they were just garbage. And yeah, they weren't tuned right, even though, that's debatable. But I got into piano because at Bill's house, his dad owns a piano, and Bill taught me how to play Marietta Little Lamb, because Bill was like really good at piano, surprisingly. And I just wanted a keyboard for Christmas one day, and I got one, and I don't want to say I outgrew it, but I learned a lot of stuff on it, and I wanted to get a newer one. I had the Casio CTK like 2000, I think, or 2080. Then I upgraded to the CTK 7000, which is such a good keyboard. I love it so much. Every time I play another keyboard or piano, it just feels so like weird to me, because I'm so used to mine. But yeah, I've been playing piano or keyboard for about 5 or 6 years. But about 2 years ago, I picked up guitar, and guitar was one of those instruments where I've always had one laying around the house, even longer than piano, but I just never picked up on it. I never thought I could learn it, but now here I am, and I'm actually half decent at guitar. I just find that a little interesting. Yeah, we always doubt ourselves in life, and you can always make something great out of it. Reason number, I lost track a long time ago. And did I say reason again? God damn it. I like collecting video games, but it's something that I'm also straying away from at the same time. So it's like this weird like collide. So I have a lot of consoles. I have, I don't know, about 17, which for like hardcore collectors is nothing. And I have about 150-ish games, which for hardcore collectors that's like nothing. But yeah, I like having consoles, but as I get a little older, I kind of don't like not having room, and I kind of hate having clutter everywhere. So I've slowly been downsizing it, and I've been getting into computers a lot more. But what's funny is one day, this is whenever I was talking about Bill and how he came over that one time in like years. He was watching Angry Video Game Nerd, and he saw that I already had a lot of consoles, and that's how he got into it. Is he just watched like every nerd episode in like 1 or 2 nights, and that was like his thing, and yeah, it was a little interesting. But then we both just got into it. Then we both would go to flea markets, and we still do go to thrift stores and all that fun stuff, and yeah, then it's as simple as that. It's funny how like the smallest thing will set off such a big thing like this. You know, I started off from watching Angry Video Game Nerd to actually getting serious with a collection. But like I said though, I'm starting to maybe slow down a bit on it, just to make room for other things. Alright guys, this has been going on for almost 20 minutes now, and hey, maybe you guys learned a little something about me. If you did, hey, that's great, but you probably didn't really care all that much to begin with. No, I'm just joking, I'm being cynical. But yeah, this has been the season finale of Ian Spills the Beans. Comment down below what you guys want to see. I'll stay updated with you guys on Twitter. And yeah, until next time, I am out.
Hey, how you doing? So you like that video? That's great. You should probably leave a like and a comment to let us know. Probably share it with your friends too, and hit that subscribe button. Make us feel good about ourselves. Alright, thank you.